The next Gen Compost program is very much about how to find the win-win-win for farmers, the environment and the community at whole, so we can really improve the sustainability of the Sydney food production system while recycling organics and organic wastes. Most agricultural soils in the Sydney Basin tend to be depleted in organic matter, so that means that farmers end up relying more on the use of increasingly expensive chemical fertilizers. And most people wouldn't know that Sydney actually generates almost 2 million tonnes of organic waste every year. And unless we divert this or avoid producing the waste in the first place, this is going to end up in landfill, which means it's not only taking up valuable land space in a growing city, but it also is producing methane, greenhouse gas emissions, and wasting valuable resources that we could be reusing in that waste.
Recycling is so important. It really is, because 50% of our waste is organic matter and we need to recycle that to get the nutrients back into the ground. Separation of waste is really, really important. We want to be putting all those good nutrients in the ground, not plastics, not petroleum, not metals. We want to be putting those good green organic nutrients back into the ground.
We happen to know exactly what goes in every single one of these bins. If there is contamination, we photograph it. We hit one button, straight away we capture the contamination. We'll tag this bin. It's very rare because the people in Wallandilly are brilliant. They hardly ever contaminate, and if they do and they're found out, they very rarely do it again. So it's a great system. We empty 293,000 of these bins every single year. It's fantastic. And we know that it's all going to be recycled. We know that it's all going to be composted correctly and it'll go back into the marketplace. All the nutrient into this bin will go back to the farmers, which is brilliant.
Our modelling is showing that we could theoretically supply all 72,000 hectares of vegetable growing areas in the Sydney Basin with this compost, and also divert almost 300,000 tonnes of organic waste from landfill.
We're working with a science team and also with commercial compost producers to develop a compost that is just right when it hits the paddock. That way you get all the benefits of compost in terms of soil structure, water holding capacity and reduction of groundwater pollution, while at the same time ensuring you get the kind of yield that you expect as a grower.
The main benefits are that it supplies the biology in the soil. So the biology is really absolutely critical to the health of the crop. It supplies nutrients, it protects the crop against stress, and also ensures much faster growth.
Here's a typical plant, quite late in the trial. You can see the leaves are still nice and dark green leaves, good size, no indication of any nutritional deficiencies showing there. And here's a plant that hasn't received any additional chemical fertiliser, it's just simply relying on the compost.
Using compost to grow our food can also reduce the greenhouse gas impact of organic waste, because it's diverting that waste from landfill and recycling it back to agriculture. And ultimately this means that farmers can potentially see increases in crop yields.
So we did some soil trials where we were growing corn on it. We found that we got a fairly good yield increase in the compost and water holding ability, and that went to something like, we got 22 tonnes to the hectare off that, and then under our conventional fertiliser regime we got about 18 tonnes. It just helps with the sustainability of growing, and look, New South Wales Farmers is working in this sort of area, and I think it's where the future's got to lie.
Food production actually contributes a lot to the economy. It's been estimated to contribute $4 to $5 billion a year. And vegetable production, while it only occupies less than 3% of agricultural land in the Sydney Basin, it actually contributes 13% to agriculture by value. Our food systems are inherently wasteful. Even the average Australian household throws out about 20% of the food that they purchase. That's $1 billion worth of edible food that's being thrown out every year. The good news is that Sydney is getting better every year at separating organic waste Today, recycling companies can supply compost made to the Australian standards that is suitable for use in agriculture. So we actually see the Next Gen Compost program as a real win for farmers, but also for the environment and the community in general. And while not everyone can make their own compost or grow their own vegetables, it is nice to know that by using a green bin, you can close the loop and contribute to building the health of our agricultural soils and also improving the sustainability of the whole Sydney food production system.